Hi guys, welcome back to Fiery Love 1111. I'm back and I'm going to do a quick reading on the divine masculine and feminine collective, soul connections, soulmates, twin flames, pretty much anybody that knows they have a soul connection. I mean, you don't even have to really put a label on it. So, it's whatever resonates for you. It can also be, for people that are single, like the divine masculine and divine feminine energies that are within us. So that's another thing to keep in mind, because it's a different perspective and another way to see our own growth. So let's just get into it and see what happens. So I have the 3 decks out with me. I don't know which ones I'm going to use. I'll just see. I have the Dark Goddess Oracle by designed by Kate Osborne, but by Barbara Michael John Free and Flavia Kate Peters. And then I have some oracle cards. The Island Time Wellness Love Oracle cards. They're really just amazingly cute oracle cards that go with tarot cards. And of course, my absolute favorite is the Celtic Dragon Tarot. So, as I get into these messages, if I feel the need to explain how this message is coming through for me, and, just to help you guys tap into your own intuition, then, we're just going to go with the flow and see what happens, okay? Let's just see what's going on with the connection today, though. And let's just go into this very first deck and see, as far as the Dark Goddess Oracle, let's just see what our energies are, what we're releasing, what we're transmuting and letting go of. Okay, let's just see what comes out, and we'll take a gander at it and see what happens. So what energies is the soul connections, divine masculine and divine feminine energies within us, releasing, transmuting, and letting go of? Like I said, because energies change every day, right? Just from the energy that I felt yesterday wasn't the same as the energy that I felt 2 days ago when I did these readings, because every day it can change, and not every day I can do a reading, because it just depends on how the energy feels. So if you're a little off, if you're not feeling well, as a reader, you can't force it, right? It's either going to flow or it isn't. So you have to wait for those times. Let divine timing lead you. Actually, that's the thing. And when I say let divine timing lead you, it also means listening to your higher intuition. Listen to your higher self. Let that be the guide, because even your higher self and your high, as a higher self, as a higher being, you can know intuitively that if the energies aren't right. So it's it's just really important to listen to that, and connect with that, right? And when I did these other readings the other day, I'm trying to explain to you guys how separating the ego from the higher self, right, and listening to it. And the best way, I did the reading, I posted it, and then as I fall asleep, I get these messages that come through, right? It's just a different way to explain it. And so the best way to explain what your intuition is those times that you just have a gut feeling. You go instinctively with the very first feeling that you have regarding anything, right? Regarding taking a job, regarding, let's say you're playing cards with friends and you needed to guess something and you didn't pick that very first thing that came to your mind, like say a number 3, but you went with number 5, and number 3 was right, and you should have gone with it. Like, that's your intuition talking to you. And it's just little things like that. It's little simple things. Oops, just that one just kind of flew out. That can help guide you to, listen to that and pay attention to that more. And it's really spectacular, honestly, when you just, go with that flow and let your intuition guide you, because your intuition is connected to your higher self, and your higher self is connected to all the lives you've ever had. So your intuition will know what you need and what you don't need. Your intuition knows way more than your earthly being and your ego self does right now, or in any lifetime, So listening to that and just going with the flow, honestly, is the best way one of the best ways I can explain to tell you about that, Okay, so this is the first card that popped out, which is one, things that we're releasing, and it's trickery. So trickery, anything that is, so let's just look at this card, right? So like, half of her face is hiding. So hiding any energies that, and doesn't necessarily mean, it's kind of twofold. It can be releasing any energies of being tricked by others, but more so, it's the more important thing, which is always, thinking about releasing what is inside us. It doesn't matter about the outside world. Nothing and no one matters as much at all in the outside world as our own selves. So remember that no matter what you do in this lifetime, it's always matters. What's most important is taking care of you. So taking care of you is what gets this going, what fixes this, okay? So the trickery, any trickery that I see in this reading means any trickery that we've been, something popped up on my screen, that we've been deceiving ourselves with, right? Okay, so, and this is another thing that has to do with our ego and our higher self, and I don't want to sound repetitive and, overkill or anything like that, but it's really important to connect with these key points about these differences, right? Because the trickery that our ego tells us is always those pat on the back, those little thoughts that come to our head to help soothe ourselves, which is soothing an ego, which is, helps us feel better. But is it the truth? Do you really want these lies and, trickery that we tell ourselves to soothe us, or do we really want to know the truth? And so this is what's being released, is the trickery that we've been telling ourselves in order just to help ourselves feel better. We're no longer willing to sit back and let this be most important. What's most important is the truth, and this is what we're releasing. So that's a beautiful energy. It really is. And like I said, you have to just keep, if you are experiencing trickery in the outside world, then you got to start looking at yourself, because there's something that you're tricking yourself with, because you're attracting that, right? Right? It's always, as within, so without. You got to remember that. Spirit always will remind us what shows up in our life is what is inside us first. So really pay attention to the trickery that we are telling ourselves. It's very important. All right, let's just see if there's any more that's going to come out. Oh, this one. And persuasion. Yeah, persuasion. And I just want to explain that to you too. This card didn't fall out, but the energy of the card feels different than these cards. For me, this is how I do this, okay? It's an energy field. Sometimes it feels lighter, it feels heavier, it just feels very different. The energy needs to come out. So sometimes it just happens like that, and I'll take that as a message because it does feel different than the rest of these. Okay? And that can change with every reading, with every person, and you know, it's just always different. And sometimes I can see things in a card where I couldn't see it before because the thing I see in that card applies to this message, right? So it's really going with your intuition. It really is just going with your intuition and then listening to the thoughts, the ideas, the images that come into your mind, the words that come into your mind, the feelings that you come into your mind, right? So like this one is very red to me. This red really stands out. And what's that persuasion? You know, it's persuading ourselves that our egos are most important. It's this very, you know, this energy of, well, it's like Spirit's asking, what is persuasion? Spirit's actually asking this question, what is persuasion? Is it trying to get somebody to see a point that is yours, but somebody else may not actually agree with, just so you soothe that ego? Because this is what's getting released, right? We're no longer willing to be persuaded or need to persuade others. We don't need that. And it's being released because we're just letting all that go because it doesn't serve us anymore. It's just bullshit. This is just bullshit energy that I'm seeing. And you know, pardon me for swearing, but that's just what's coming through it. How Spirit wants to show us. We're just no longer willing to sit in that energy of deceiving ourselves. It's just plain and simple. It really is. And it's very important. It's highly important. We're just, this energy that's coming through is a higher energy. It's ascending energy. It's ascending. It's ascending and living up to our own expectations and living up to what we are as higher selves, what we expect of ourselves, which is to learn, which is to release, which is to let go of the old. This is what's being released. This is what's no longer being served. You see how beautiful that is? It doesn't have to do with anybody else. If you read these cards and you initially think this is what Spirit really wants to convey to us. If Spirit is, you know, wants, you know, if you immediately think that somebody's doing this to you, then you really have to look within. It's as simple as that. What are you tricking yourself about? What are you deceiving you about? What are you trying to persuade yourself about? And take a good look at that. That's a higher self coming in. That's your higher self coming in and asking those questions, right? Because the ego says things different. The ego protects. The ego is more negative, like, oh, you don't need that. You just protect yourself. But the higher self asks those questions. The higher self challenges us to ask these questions. Because if you don't want this in your life, if you don't want to be persuaded by others with deception and trickery, then you need to take a look at yourself. You need to take a look at yourself first and ask yourself what energies reside within you that is no longer serving, that you're just tired of, that you're just done with. If you really don't want that in your life, you really have to take a good hard look at yourself. Take a good hard look in the mirror and ask yourself these questions. That's what our higher selves do. Our higher selves show us our own mirror all the time. All the time. Even when you don't think your higher self is asking you the questions, your higher self is asking you the questions. I'll just tell you that right now. You know, we're not here to play it small. Think of that too. We're not here to play it small. You were born in this life, in this age right now, to ascend, to push yourself more. We're not here to play it small. I'm not here to play it small. I know that. I'm not. I won't live a lie anymore. I won't live a lie and try to persuade myself that I'm like others. See, this applies to me too. Because if I really want to, pretend to be like everybody else, then that's just me persuading myself, and that's a deceptive energy. Because I've never been like anybody else. Never. And I'm embracing my difference. I'm embracing who I am. I'm a different person. I see life differently. Every soul that I ever come across, I try to see them in a higher light. We're all here doing the best that we can. We're all here with our gifts and our lessons and trying the best that we can every day that we're here. Now, how beautiful is that? And I'm no longer willing to trick myself into thinking that I'm the same as anybody else, because I'm not. I'm here. I'm different. I'm embracing the gifts I've been given, because it is a gift. It really is a gift. And that gift is here to help others to ascend. That's what I want to do. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I'm here to ask you to challenge yourself. I'm here to ask you to challenge yourself to look at yourself in a different light. See yourself in a different light. And I want to tell you, Spirit really wants to say something else about our jobs, our careers. Your career is not who you are. Your career does not make you who you are. Okay? The person that is within you makes you who you are. I don't care if you drive a trash truck, if you are a big corporate executive, none of that shit matters. None of that matters on the other side. It doesn't. What matters is what's within. So don't worry and don't stress about the job that you do in order to make a living, because that doesn't matter. What matters is the person that you are. Are you kind? Are you helpful? Are you willing to help others? Are you willing to lend a loving hand and be forgiving? No matter if other people see your perspective or not, are you willing to let that go and just be the best that you can? Spirit really wants to try to remind you guys about the earthly things that seem to matter a lot in this life don't matter on the other side. They really don't. It's not about how much money you make. It's not about, and I'm not just saying this because I'm not a millionaire. Even if I was a millionaire, I'd still say it. It doesn't matter how much money you make. What matters is the person that you are. I could have Publishers Clearinghouse or Lotto knock on my door right now and hand me $10 million, but is that going to change the person that I am? It damn well better not. I'll tell you what. If anything, I'll be able to help people even more. And that's what I want to be. That's the person I want to be. That's the person I want to be. What kind of person do you want to be? Because if you want to be that person, just be it. Start thinking as if. Be as if. Do as if. Right? Just do as if. If you want to be that person, start thinking that way. Start being that way. Start acting that way. And you can see the world change in front of your eyes. This is the third time I'll say this in a reading, but Dr. Wayne Dyer says, just say that sentence over and over. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's just an incredible, incredible way of being. It really is. All right, so I'm not really feeling any more cards that are needing to come out with this, so I'm just going to set them aside, and we're going to pull some cards from the Celtic Dragon Tarot and see, oops, too many of these fell out, and see what Spirit has to say about this, about our growth and ascension, what we're letting go of, what we're ascending to. Just any messages that want to come out. Oh, I keep getting 3, 4, and 5 cards that want to just fall out here. But yeah, it really is a beautiful energy. So the 3 of Cups. The 3 of Cups fell out. And what is that? The Cups is like union and celebration, and sometimes it can be third party. I don't know. I don't really take it that way. In this card and with this deck, I see it as a beautiful energy of celebrating a new you. That's how I see that. Let's see what else. I'm going to try to make this a shorter reading, try not to go too long, but let's just see what energies come out here. What else? Spirit guides, angel guides. What else are we ascending to? What else? Messages. Oops. All right, so these are too much, but I will take this one. Okay, so the Three of Wands, I really feel a good energy with this one, and I'm going to tell you why. So this is and I might even just leave it at this, because this is a really great, right? See the Three of Cups and the Three of Wands, a lot of threes coming out. So let's just take a look at this energy, right? So you have, you know, when I read a description, there's a description for each card in here, and you can take what resonates and leave what doesn't, right? But you also have to go with your intuition on this, and my intuition is guiding me to tell you what this book says, because it holds true, okay? So there's a positive, happy, see how you can see the dragons? There's a positive and a negative dragon, which represent positive and negative polarities. And then the wands are each holding a wand, and that energy is flowing between them and the wand down into the sand. And to me, this is a energy of it's like a compromise. That's what Spirit says. It's a compromise. There's a compromise coming through of seeing the polarities within another, seeing the polarities within ourselves, and melding those, almost like a temperance, but it's like an understanding is coming through, and more of a compromise. Yeah, I just keep getting compromise. So this is a compromise energy, and when you start to compromise things within yourself, and I don't mean compromise as in a negative connotation. I'm talking about a positive annotation. Like, it's like being willing to compromise with others. That also expresses the energy of, okay, I have some negative energies within me, and I can learn to work with that energy. I can learn to work with those negative energies within me. You know, a little bit of fear-based ego that's circling around. I can take that energy, but I can still work with that energy, right? We're all magicians. We can take this energy and work with ourselves and make it so it's okay. Because, you know, and it's like a forgiveness of ourselves. It's like a forgiveness of ourselves and not being so hard on ourselves. When we learn to compromise within our own minds, then that compromising with others starts to come through, right? It's this beautiful, beautiful, calm energy that says, you know, I may not see things your way. I may not see the things the way you do, but I will try to understand it, right? It's just this beautiful energy that's coming through, and that's how it works, you know, as within, so without. So being a little more peaceful within our own hearts, within a little more understanding within our own souls goes a long way. And that reverberates out from our souls. That reverberates out. And then we lure compromise in, because we're willing to compromise, because we're willing to temper our own negative and positive energies within ourselves, and just be a little more understanding and be a little more forgiving, and just pat ourselves on the back for the work that we can do, and just keep working on the stuff that's hard, right? So those Three of Cups is a celebration. It's a celebration. See, he's just sitting, you know, that dragon is just sitting there and looking at that beautiful light, which is knowledge and truth that is coming from those cups. And those cups are within. They're within us. I can't express that energy enough, how important it is. If you want to fix something in the outside world, go within first. It is so important. You know, and you'll see miracles, you really will. You'll see miracles. You'll see miracles within your own life, and you'll see miracles start to manifest in the outside world, because that's what you're doing. You're transmuting those old energies and getting rid of this trickery and persuasion that you've carried around for so long, this baggage in your ego, and you're no longer willing to hold on to that. You're just like, no thanks. I won't take that anymore. I don't want that. I don't accept it, and I will not keep it in my life. I will transmute that bitch, and I will transmute it. I will let it go. Transmute it into something that I can work with, that I can appreciate, and not worry about. Those darker energies will transform themselves, and just let them go. See how beautiful that is? That's really beautiful. All right, guys, I love you, and I hope you enjoyed this quick little reading, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.